Speaking of hardware and Pixel stuff, let's talk about some new Pixel Fold news.
It's like, anyway.
Well,
Remember earlier when I said I can just get up and leave? I can just get up and leave.
What's the scene in Elf when he's like...
With the etch sketch.
No, it's fine.
I love that GIF.
Yeah, I mean, we've got the Pixel
So,
Fold.
what's been new, Andrew? I like your shirt.
I don't have the article pulled up. We haven't even written it
See,
yet.
you weren't even ready.
So we're going to write, like, a new thing came out
Screen
giving
size
some of the full dimensions of it.
Yeah.
I think that's the only new thing. And it's a new render, too.
Yeah, they have a new render, but it was
like
still based off of everything else. But yeah, the screen size and dimensions.
Yeah, so I haven't even gotten into that yet. It kind of popped up right before this, and I was like, well, as soon as this is done, I'll dig into that, and we'll write that article. So the specifics on it,
7 point some
first mention.
Was it in Discord? Somebody posted in Discord?
Point some.
Yeah,
yes.
it's in there. So
with a hole punch.
Yeah, and none of that stuff's new. It's not that anybody didn't know that, but getting the actual dimensions on it will kind of be helpful, I think. It could feature a form factor similar to the Oppo Find N, which we've been saying that.
Yep.
Which would put, let's see here. I'm no good with millimeters. 160 millimeters by 140 millimeters, 5.7 millimeters unfolded. I like that number. I know that number. So most phones are about 11 millimeters-ish these days. We had phones go beneath that for a little bit, and then we figured out it was a little too thin, a little bit ridiculous.
Yeah.
So yeah, somewhere around 11 millimeters, 10 millimeters is usually the thickness of most phones. This is 5.7 millimeters.
All right, what was the screen? Or what was the first dimension?
That's the main dimension unfolded. 158.7 by 139.7 by 5.7.
So 6.22 inches on the 158.
Oh.
What is happening here? Oh, I'm getting...
Yeah, you're going to have to do some serious...
Getting a phone call here.
The device will also be slimmer than both. Chunky camera bump, so that even the camera bump's only 8 millimeters thick. That's not bad at all. Let's see. Here we go. Pixel Fold will pack a 7.69-inch foldable display.
Nice.
That's pretty cool because I'm pretty sure the Galaxy is 7.8 or something like that, 7.9, and it's a lot. It's taller. It's more of like a square display, which is super awkward for a lot of things. This is going to be more of a landscape type of design. And then 5.8-inch cover display, so that is right in line with the Pixel 5a, I think. No, wait. 5a with 5G was the 6.2. I think it's Pixel 5. I think Pixel 5 was the smaller phone, right?
Google it real quick.
I want to say Pixel 5 was a 5.8-inch device. One of the Pixel A series or the Pixel 5, one of the two. And I remember maybe a 4A, but it has that smaller form factor, which was fine. It was like, I could rock this. I would be sad when it's time to watch a show, or I'd be sad when it's time to play a game. But for general, like, out and about messaging, all that kind of stuff, it's fantastic. And so now it's like, cool. The outer display is like that petite type phone. If it's only 5 5.7 millimeters.
7.95. Oh, the millimeters.
Thickness 5.7, so it's only going to be 11.4 millimeters thick when it's closed up. So I bet you, if you look up this speaking case, I bet you it's right about that thickness. So closed up, it's not going to be much thicker than this. I'm like, come on, get out of here.
Give it to me now. Yeah.
So on the outside, you got this nice petite. You know, phone,
like still very usable and not a candy bar.
Not the candy bar. Yep. And I remember I was talking to my sister-in-law about her and my brother-in-law both have used the Folds for the last like 2 iterations, and she was talking about how much they loved them and stuff. And this was like 6 months ago. And I was like, yeah, I tried, and I liked a lot about it, but I did not like the Samsung software. I just like Pixel software on my phones, and I just couldn't get used to that screen on the outside. And what happened was, once I got past the first couple of the honeymoon days of opening it every time,
using it open all the time,
it came down to like, I just need to get the normal stuff done. I want to pull this phone out, and put it away. Well, that outside screen is full screen, sure, but that phone is like a gold bar, basically. So it feels like it's a little thick because it doesn't close flat. It kind of closes like a wedge, and it's tall and thin, and so that. It's like 6 point whatever inches screen size, but it's not really like it's diagonal screen measurement's jacked up if you keep stretching it.
Right.
You know, if the angle is bad, like, yeah, it's a 10-inch screen, but it's only an inch wide.
Exactly.
Like, it's no good. And like, if it's the size of a ruler, that's still a 12-inch screen, right? I mean, that's no good. Nobody wants to use that. So that's kind of what it felt like. Everything's scrunched in. The keyboard's narrow, so it makes it feel small. So it's like typing on like the early iPhone or something, like this tiny little thing. And so I couldn't get around to using it. And so it's like, this solves that. It solves, you know, the issues with Samsung software. Boom. What else do you want? I mean, it's going to be expensive. Don't get me wrong. It's going to be crazy expensive.
Yeah.
But fingers crossed, it shows up like T-Mobile and they have some trade in. And I can trade something in for it. I hope.
I mean, I'll just pay. I'm gonna buy it one way or another.
Yeah, I mean, they'll send us one, I'm sure. They're not going to send us 3 of those.
Yeah.
That ain't going to happen.
We're gonna be fighting over that one. All
Dibs.
right, Robbie, you get to drive it for the first game.
You guys heard dibs.
He called dibs. He called dibs.
What else are you going to do?
You can't
Shotgun.
argue with.
I'll just go
you
to
can't
T-Mobile.
argue with
I ain't worried
dibs.
about it. Yeah, shotgun.
What, we're calling shotgun on the phone.
That's second place.
Just anything.
Yeah.
I just want to reserve it.
next.
Yeah.
You get a third.
Yeah. Okay. Fine.
That will be that's going to be a wild device to have around.
Well,
I think the right thing to do with it will be probably to sign in Chrome Unboxed at first and pass it around. And I don't know.
It's
I can't wait.
It's
I
going to
just
be
cannot wait. I really hope they put a display out on it. They have not done that with Pixels. I hope that you can hook it up to an external monitor.
Yeah.
Because it's a productivity focused
That's one thing I
device.
missed about my LG phones that I had. They all had that.
And OnePlus all had
it.
it.
Yeah, OnePlus had it too.
Plug it in and like with that nice screen size and stuff.
Absolutely.
Man, it'll be a great little productivity machine. Especially Android has all these new desktop. You know,
Right.
Mm-hmm.
It's not great on the desktop, but
it's workable. Yeah, if you were traveling and didn't want to, lug a device around with your Chromebook with you, take your phone and a monitor. And
or one day,
rock and roll.
One day they'll just dual boot ChromeOS on it.
I guess if you're carrying around a monitor, a keyboard, and a mouse,
perfect.
That's gonna
be so much easier.
This is so much better than a Chromebook.
I hate having a Chromebook here. Yeah,
I would hate to have to lug a Chromebook on this trip.
So now you have to pack your unfolding keyboard.
Right, exactly.
We got one of those around here somewhere.
Yeah.
That thing's cool.
Use the thing itself could be the trackpad.
Right. Exactly.
And then your external screen. I mean, set it up on the airplane like lickety split.
Super easy.
Oh yeah.
Super simple. Just as easy as like lifting the lid. I bet it's simpler.
Right. Similar to that.
Okay, so maybe display out's not. Maybe it's stupid. I don't know.
I think it could still be cool. Like, and we've always talked about this, like just the one device type thing.
No, don't get me started on that.
So, but was there one other article you wrote about some benchmarks?
Oh,
I think that was
so
after
happened.
last week's episode.
Yeah, that was earlier this week, I think. Monday, maybe Monday. It showed up on Geekbench 5. And all it did was affirm the fact that it's definitely Tensor 2.
Right.
So same cores, same speeds, and pretty close to the exact same scores you get on the 7 Pro. And that's not like a revelation or anything, but it is kind of cool to know that they're not going to try to cram Tensor 3 in this thing and then thus push it off into the fall. Like this thing's been pushed back
or
enough.
cheap out and put because there was rumors that it was going to
Tensor.
have the OG tensor in it.
And have like low
you're going to
amounts
be
of RAM.
which would have been fine if they'd launched it this summer. But
Yeah.
if it's not coming until May, no.
And I've been super happy with Tensor G2. No performance issues.
It's been great.
At all.
Gaming's great.
It's been great. I haven't had any problems with it. And the benefit there is it'll also have. It's a 3 camera setup. Assuming it's something similar to what we have, or maybe slight tweaks or whatever. But if the hardware is decent enough, that Tensor G2 is going to be able to do all the computational photography you need. So it's not like, I got this cool folding phone and it does all kinds of cool things, but now I've got this kind of 2016 camera on
lousy
here.
camera setup.
And that kind of was what Samsung did for a little while. The folds are getting better. Like they're pretty good. But for that money, like that, it should be your best camera too.
Oh yeah.
Like the fold should be the best of all the things you got. And again, we don't know for sure what those cameras are going to be, but if they're going to charge $1,800 for it, I would hope that
it should be what's in the
this camera array in there.
Put the 7 Pro camera setup in there and call it a day.
But yeah, I mean, the looks of it are just, I mean, it's gorgeous. And I love that it looks on brand. Like it looks like a Pixel phone.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and yeah, it doesn't have the bar all the way across, but it still has a big visor across the back. And I mean, I wouldn't hate it if the next Pixels adopted that sort of visor.
Because especially with a case on it, it looks real dope on a standard.
Yeah, it's really cool. Pretty sweet looking. Yeah. And it looks, looking at that picture too, and some of these other pictures, it's like, oh God, is that visor bar going to be really big? Remember that the total thickness of that phone there is, 5.5 millimeters.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
It's like that. It's very tiny.
Yeah. It's gonna be a saucy phone. It's gonna be expensive, like you said, but it'll have
issues.
It's gonna, and yeah, I mean, it's gonna have its few little things, hopefully, that we'll have to deal with as kind of early adopters of their first run at this. Hey everyone, thanks so much for watching this clip of the Chromecast podcast. If you want to see the full episode, is linked down in the description. But if you like this content, make sure to give us a thumbs up. Go down there, click subscribe, and click the notification bell. Don't kick it.
I like to ring it.
I like kick it.
You're not really ringing it. You're clicking it.
Yeah.
I just imagine Joe, San Francisco Joe.
They should add a little.
Kicking it.
They should add a little sound.
I think current gen Joe might hurt himself with this.
Probably.
It's a bit more limber than
current gen Joe is probably a result of San Francisco Joe.
That's why my back hurts all the time. All right. Appreciate you all watching. We'll catch you in the next clip. Bye-bye.